Hello, my name is Janet Simpkins. I'm a social studies teacher at Roosevelt Annex Alternative 2 program. Today we're here to present our debate team in their first debate. The topic they'll be debating today is the success of women in business. To my far left, we have Ray Hines, who is a senior in the Alternative 2 program. He is one of our judges today. Ray is also a participant in our cooperative education program. Next to Ray, we have one of our pro contenders for women in business, Donna DeFrancisco, who is a junior, who recently was a participant in the debate team for the Cheney State College Upward Bound program, which was held at Cheney State College last summer. Next to Donna, we have Renee Holmes, who is also a junior, who currently is working part-time at the Montgomery County Board for Job Assistance as a file clerk. Seated next to Renee, we have Ira Carter, who is a junior, who was a second-place winner this past summer in the Widener College Spelling Bee. He was a participant in the Cheney State College Upward Bound program. Seated next to Ira, we have Matt Conlon, who is a junior, who is a part-time student at Roosevelt Annex and Norristown Area High School. He currently is taking a computer programming course through Norristown High. Next to Matt, we have Jerry Love, who is a senior in our program. He currently is a volunteer fireman for the Hancock Fire Company of Norristown. Jerry Love is also standing as one of our judges today. At this time, we will have the opening argument from the ladies, from Donna DeFrancisco. Thank you.
I'm debating on women in business, and I'm for women being in business. The reason being, taxes as high as they are, and inflation being up so high, both members of the family, both male and female, have to work. And there are a few benefits from it. The higher the women's earnings, the higher the tax deduction, and also the higher the family's income, the greater the tax benefit.
In the information that I gather, it says that ladies make 20% less than men in our profession.
In my information that I gathered, which comes from Mademoiselle, edition June 1981, your answer is false. It says a female salary is almost the same as a man's nowadays. In some fields, the female's pay is higher, such as banking. Females is $23,097. Males is $22,960. Difference is $137. Pharmaceuticals, males' pay is $23,729. Females is $23,817. Difference is $88. Travel and hotel, $21,976 for male. Females is $24,544. Difference is $2,568.
Well, women have different drives than men and motives for their business. Some professions they do make more money, but in other professions they can't, such as a hard laborer in a factory, where they have to lift heavy weights. They can't do such things as this. They also have high emotions in some business areas. Let's see what else we have. They're more sensitive and take things more personally than men do. When their work is criticized, they think them themselves are being criticized by this.
I have a question just to do you think you're capable of lifting heavy objects as far as on the job, as on the docks?
Some women are capable of doing it. other women aren't. You just have to find out which women are capable and which women aren't, and hire them as well.
In colonial America, women who earned their own living usually became seamstress or kept boarding houses. But some women worked in professions and jobs developed mostly to men. For example, there were women doctors, lawyers, preachers, teachers, writers, and singers. But by the early 19th century, however, acceptable occupations for working women were limited to factory, labor, or domestic work. Women were excluded from the professions, except for writing and teaching.
In 1980, we have women who are firefighters, police officers, sales managers, lawyers and judges, mechanics, food service managers, engineers, and college teachers.
Beginning in the 19th century, professional opportunities for women began to decline.
And also, in this recording that I have, and the people who were these things were fewer men. We have food service people. The percentage was 30.0, 33.1 for women.
In 1890, women who constituted about 5% of the total doctors in the United States. During the 1960s, the proportion was about 7%. At the same time, the percentage of women doctors was about 24% in Israel, 20% in West Germany, 16% in England and Wales, and 13% in France. Women also had not greatly improved their status in other professions.
Okay, women are gaining in professions these days. The number of women earning MBA degrees, master's degrees, increased by 76 times between 1955 and 1980. In 1955 and 56, there were only 162 women earning a master's degree. Between 1969 and 1970, the number rose to 769. And in 1980, there were 12,305 women graduates. And this is according to the National Center for Education Statistics in Washington.
Yeah, but see, women have been put on defensive for a long time, and see, they have to keep proving themselves to make their point heard. They also take, when they're taken for granted, they think they're being ignored or being disapproved of. And they expect more praise and need more praise because they think, well, I'm a woman. It's hard for me to do this, so I get more praise from this. And they also like to talk more, so they do better in groups and rather by themselves. And most business deals are done by themselves, correct?
But here in this article that I have for Working Women, it said that this lady was ridiculed for her position that she wanted. She ignored the men who talked about her. She ended up as the president of the college in New York City. She also saved New York City from bankruptcy in 1981. She also, from 2 years with the Peace Corps in Iran, plus teaching politics and education at Columbia University, to being the only woman among financial experts charged with saving a bankruptcy in New York City. That's when she saved New York City from going bankrupt. And finally, an influential 150-member women's network in Washington, D.C. She is energetic, combination, pragmatic, and expertise and feminist idealism.
In 1930, about 2% of all American lawyers and judges were women. 2%. That leaves us what? 98% were men. In 1960, 3%.
Now here what I have, in 1960, judges for women were 3.3%. In 1980, it's 12.8%. Women's Working Women, 1980, June's edition.
I have a question for the women. As you're saying that you're complaining about equal rights, who is taking care of the kids while you're out doing this? I mean, as far as, like, say, for instance, you just had a baby and here you are going out and just going out everybody, just saying, well, I want equal rights because I want the same rights as the man got. Well, what about the rights towards a kid, a little kid? Now, could you explain that to me?
Okay, now you could put a child in the daycare while you're at work. Come home, get the child out of the daycare, and still take care of your family needs.
But still, you're still missing the responsibilities towards the kid, though. I mean, somebody else is watching your little kid, and where your responsibility is to help grow up this little kid, into this world. But I still can't see why you want to go out towards the equal rights. This really doesn't make no sense.
Okay, now, you would rather see a woman sitting at a desk, typing, and doing somebody else's job, but you'd rather not see her working on a truck or doing construction. That's the same thing. She's still not taking care of her children. She has them somewhere where they're being taken care of, and when she gets home, she has them. She takes care of them. She feeds them. She clothes them. She cleans her house. But yet and still, you're saying you wouldn't want her to go out and work as a mechanic, a lawyer, or a judge. She's doing the same thing as she would if she was working at a desk.
What's the principle behind all this?
The same principle as behind working at a desk. She's earning money to feed her family.
Yes, but many women in business are half wives and mothers and things of the sort, but their physical, mental, and emotional resources are concentrated in the home. And you can't really have a home attitude in a business atmosphere, and also they are more likely to bring their problems into the office from their home, where their son or something happened to their kid, and they're going to get all scared about that and shaken, so they want to take a day off. They expect special treatment such as this.
Some men have the same emotions.
Yes.
Some men want the same thing as women. You have men that work at desks too. What do you call them? They're not out. Well, if a woman takes a job of a man working on construction, right? Where is that man that could be taking that woman's place? Sitting at a desk typing, just like the other women that are not out there in that field.
Yes, mostly women are behind a desk typing.
No.
More than men.
In 1980, you had 50% women and 50% men sitting at desks typing. And I have my information from a calls, December 1981.
In 1930, there were almost no women engineers in the United States. In 1970, the proportion of women engineers was still barely 1%.
Well, in 1960, for engineers, I have 0.9%. In 1980, I have 4.0.
Is that also from a cause?
Now, this is from Working Women, June 1981.
I have a question addressed to the gentleman. How would you feel if you were working, say for about 10, 15 years beside another man, and all of a sudden they take this man away and put a woman beside you? How would you feel?
I would feel as though like she beside me, and if she gets hurt, I would feel like it's my fault because I shouldn't have never let her be out there lifting that kind of heavy work.
Okay, I have a statement from Mr. Larry Brown, and he says he works with the women in construction, and he agrees that if a woman can do a man's job, she should do it. If she's physically and mentally capable of doing the job, she should do it.
But, if you say that she would have got hurt on the job, who would you blame it on? Would you blame it on the man?
No, she's taking the same risk that a man's taking. The risk that a man's taking working on a construction job, she's taking the same risk.
Tyler, do you think of yourself as mentally and physically able to do a job like that?
Construction? No, because I'm afraid of heights, but other jobs
Such
such
as
as
driving a truck.
yes, I feel I'm capable of doing that job.
What about loading the truck?
And depending on what the contents are.
What if it was bricks? Would you load it then? Or would you rather have a man load it?
No, I had somebody else do it.
A man or a lady though?
Whichever one is there and whichever one is capable of doing it.
Now, in another magazine that I was reading, Mademoiselle, it said women are expected more relevant today in academic than 15 years ago, but there are more career alternatives, especially in oil industry, consulting, and to a certain extent in federal state government. Now here I have a woman who was the president of an oil company, manager and president of plants service at Sun Company, supervisor of staff of 60, and was chief negotiator for the new labor contract with the oil company. Now this is saying that woman, no matter what, she can do what she sets her mind to do.
But was she married?
Yes, she is married and has 4 kids.
See, now, women that work can cause problems for the employer, such as when they're pregnant, they have to leave work. And the average 18-year-old is only in work for 18 months. And after they work for a certain time, like say an emergency at home comes up, or if their husband is transferred to a different area, or even when certain financial aid needs are met, they just quit, causing the employer having to go out and look for another person, which makes many problems since they hardly work. The average woman doesn't work more than 5 years if she is married.
You also notice that most women who go out in the construction, engineering, mechanics field does not plan on having a family. If they do plan on having a family, they wait till their kids are of age.
I have another question. What I gathered all this information from is that it seems like you're fighting for power, and that also next you be telling me that you want to be playing on the boys' football team. And if you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but still, to me, I just think it's just nothing but for attention. That's all I think it's for.
No, it's like this. I'm not saying that I would go out and fight, play on a football team. If a man can do a woman's job, we can do a man's job, just as easily.
So you're saying a woman will be able to get on a football team?
I have seen them.
But you see how they ended up?
No, some women that I have seen, they're not professional, but they're teams. They're still there, still fighting and help winning.
Well, while they're doing all this, who's going to pay for a doctor bill while they're all in a bed, all with the broken bones and whatnot?
Who's paying for the men's doctor's bills?
Men.
Well, women can pay for theirs. They're getting paid for playing.
Yeah, but a woman's bone structure is much more fragile than a man's. Their general physical makeup is not suited for such hard physical work.
Do you think
Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
Disagree.
Why do you disagree with that?
Because if a woman wants to go out there and play ball, she has every right. There's not a law stating that a woman cannot or can do what a man does. Until you can show me that law, I'll agree. But until then, I'll disagree.
All right. So if you women saying that, whatever a man can do, and he can do better, how come when I go to a hospital, all I see is just women nurses and men doctors?
I've seen a few men nurses and a few women doctors.
Men have to be nurses before they become a doctor.
No.
But
Excuse me,
an average man becomes a doctor before any lady.
excuse me, Ira, that's where you're wrong. A male does not have to become a nurse before he becomes a doctor.
What do we have?
He has to spend 12 years in college, that's all.
In my statistics, it says for doctors, we have in 1960, 24.0, and in 1980, 39.4, and that's women. So we have just about the same percentage of women doctors as we do male doctors. And women who go to be nurses go exactly to be nurses. They do not go to be doctors. If they want to be a doctor, they go straight to school to be a doctor. And I have seen male nurses.
Renee, do you think the women's mental stability can handle being a doctor?
Yes.
They won't get physically attached to some of their patients. They say their patient has cancer or something and then dies. They won't get all shooken up, has a nervous breakdown.
They will, but men do too.
But
I
not-
have seen a male doctor. Okay, last year I went to the doctors to get my appendix removed, and it was this male doctor just lost a patient, brain surgery, just lost his patient. He was in tears. Now it took a woman doctor to settle him down, calm him down. Now, you tell me that a woman gets all upset. I see this man in tears. He just lost his patient. Of course that's going to happen. And it can happen to anybody, male or
But do you think
female.
the female is going to be able to handle it more than the male?
Yes.
Or you do?
She handled it. She was in the operating room with him. She handled it.
Was she doing the operation? Was it
She
her patient?
assisted in the operation.
She was assisting, but
Okay.
it wasn't her patient. But now, if that was her patient,
I
do you
think she
think
could handle it.
you don't think
Yes.
she would have a nervous breakdown and
Not
get all
no nervous breakdown, because she had went to school to learn that she can't be mentally attached with any of her patients. Now she can become friends, but you know she can get emotionally upset when this person died. But a man can also.
Yes, but the women have more of a tendency to have it more.
No, I
Yes.
disagree.
Women do not have a more tendency to get upset when a patient dies. The things are just about balance, the emotions. Men have just about the same amount of emotions as a woman does in this case.
Renee, you said the lady doctor or whatever she was calming the man down. Do you think if it was in the opposite place that the male would calm the lady down too?
No, because he would think if she took the job, she could handle it.
Okay, but still, you know,
But she is not looking on that perspective. She knows the man is upset.
are you sure she was a doctor? Not
She was a
nurse?
doctor.
And you know they were kind of friends of some sort?
They were colleagues. They were, you know, working with each other.
Yeah, I know the
She
college.
saw suit that he needed to be, you know, someone to talk to. The same if a woman got upset because she lost her patient, he wouldn't do that because if she took the job, she could handle it. That's the first thing that would come to his mind.
Can you prove he wouldn't have done it?
As you were saying, women, if they know that they can't take the job, they shouldn't take it, right? Isn't that what you're putting across? Well, if that's the way you're saying it, he wouldn't give her the time of day.
Excuse me. We're going to bring this to a conclusion. We're going to have a recess right now. Okay, so, Jerry, would you please meet me over there so we can have a discussion?
My decision is, I thought the women had their everything on them. They had excellent statistics. They could answer the gentleman's questions right off the bat. And I truly feel that they had all their information right before them and was ready to answer anything that came to them. That's how I see it. Ladies.
My decision is that I'll have to go with the gentleman because they still came up with pretty good, strong information against the women. And personally, I think that this is still a man's world, and I'll have to go with the man.
Again, my name is Janet Simpkins. I'm a social studies teacher at Roosevelt Annex Alternative 2 program under the direction of John W. Haynes, our principal. I'd like to thank our debate team and our judges today for the debate. which was held on the success of women in business. Because we're at a stalemate, we look forward to coming to you again to continue this debate. Thank you.